Greetings, one and all. Today we are going to discuss movie logic. It will be fun, and you will like it. Or Santa Claus will steal all of the children in your family and feed them to ravenous hyenas. That is right. Now listen up, your children are counting on you, and there will be a test. In the world of fiction, there are three logical worlds. The first is book logic. In this world, everything in the canon of the book has to be explained almost in detail to satisfy curious minds. Then there is the world of comics and TV, in which everything only has to follow a loose canon. Real explanations can be put off indefinitely, either because they are far too complex, or because they will be explained eventually. The most wonderful of these logical worlds is movie logic. A movie only runs for a maximum of 3 hours, and therefore must explain everything in those 3 hours. Thus every explanation becomes shallow and superficial. How can John Hammond in Jurassic Park afford to develop a full-size theme park centering around the recreation of extinct animals? He owns a business. Sure, in actuality that's a childish explanation, but it's all there's time for. However, an explanation being horribly stupid does not get excused. For instance, if Hammond was rich off of royalties for inventing strawberry cotton candy, I myself prefer raspberry. Also, if the explanation is simply not there for a critical plot point, like saying Hammond just has money, leaves an audience confused, frustrated, and hungry. Like how I feel right now. So let's take the quiz. And remember, each unanswered or incorrectly answered question equals one painfully eaten alive child, even if you are just babysitting them. So,
what was he saying? Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't important. Anyway, let me elaborate on that a little bit. When a movie plot point is a little too ridiculous, most good movies will have a few jokes to be thrown in there to make sure the audience isn't thinking too hard about certain logical fallacies that the movie presents, or the production in general. How does, like, Doctor Who get away with such ridiculous plots all the time? Well, because they make so many jokes. Especially the modern day version. Now, these scientists splicing together a critter in a lab, their lab is actually running into a bit of financial problems. The bank is about to let them go on their loan, just leave them high and dry to die. Now, gee, you don't explain what you're doing, and you spend boatloads of money doing it. Why would any bank foreclose? I can't imagine. Anyway, these scientists managed to put together a creature with no distinguishable animal characteristics. It's really just a giant mass of proteins that's barely capable of moving. Meanwhile, two scientists pair off together, go into another part of the building, and splice together a human-critter hybrid all by themselves. Basically a species supplanter. Oh, that's right. They're not even sure if the damn thing can be born. They're just putting it together and it comes out by accident. It's a miracle that the damn thing could even walk. Because that could so happen by accident.
Heaven help us if they ever learn the Macarena. Pepsi, Generation Next.
Anyway, yeah, the scientists take some creature DNA and some human DNA and splice them together. like this giant big old gene cocktail, and put it in an artificial womb. Which creatures, they do not say. Inside the womb, this strange embryo starts to have accelerated growth by accident. Yeah. Oops. Anyway, it is then born by accident. Seriously, this movie has more oopsies than a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids movie. Anyway, when it is born, it stings a woman the woman who tries to pull it out of the womb. But that's okay, because they just happen to have the cure to a heretofore unknown venom just sitting on top of the desk. Alright. So, instead of killing the creature, before any more mistakes take place, for a vaguely established reason, the man and woman scientist who made it, and yes, that is important that they're a man and a woman, decide to raise it, of course. Now, one stipulation in the movie is that the law does dictate that it is illegal to splice humans with animals. Gee, I wonder why the hell that would be. Anyway, they then proceed to take pretty much an entire office building floor to raise the dang thing. No one notices, just roll with it. They then take the dang thing to another floor because it gets too big for the floor they're on. They take it then to the basement floor to put it in a giant walk-in freezer. Just roll with it. It is at this point, when they are transporting the thing, that someone finally notices it. And he's sworn to secrecy and just rolls with it too. They take it down to the walk-in freezer, and finally somebody points out the thing has a stinger. Finally, it comes up that this is not good. This does not bode well. What is to follow is the stupidest line I have ever heard in any movie. Ever. This is the conversation that takes place after they find out that the critter has a stinger and have to talk about it. This creature has a stinger. How could that happen? We didn't put any predators in the gene soup. A predator. That's right, folks. A stinger means a predator. A predator. Because every creature that has a stinger is a predator. Oh, but the lines get better. It is at this point that, to hush-hush music, somebody declares quietly, "There's always the human factor." That's right, folks. This is a diatribe against humanity.